Louis.
Okay, so x and y intercepts. X-intercepts are x0. Y-intercepts are 0y. If I'm looking for the x-intercept, what will happen to the y value?
0.
It will drop out. So I will get 2x minus 8 equals 0. 2x equals 8. X equals 4. Should I put that on this graph now? No, why not? Scale might have to change. Then I go over here, and if x is 0, what happens to the x value? Drops out, so I have 5y minus 8 equals 0. 5y equals 8. Y equals 8/5. Ooh, intrigue. Which means I need to change the scale of the y-axis. So if I change the scale of the y-axis to fifths, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 1. Yeah? Does everybody understand what I just did there?
Yeah.
Okay. That is in fifths. 1 is how many fifths? 5 fifths. How many fifths do I need? 8 fifths. So how many squares past 1 must I go to get to 8 fifths? 3. Does everyone understand what I have done? Now, can I keep the same scale on the x-axis? No, because to get to 4, if I'm going by fifths, I need 20 squares. I do not have 20 squares. So I must leave the x-axis as 1. So I go out to 1, 2, 3, 4, and I put my dot, and I make that line. You get 2 for the algebra, you get 1 for the graph. Now listen to me, because I'm about to ask you a question that a great many of you are going to get wrong. What is the slope of that blue line? I will zoom in to make it easier on your young eyes. What is the slope of that blue line? How will you find it? Bryce?
You can do rise over run, but make sure to keep the y-axis at 8.
How many of you wanted to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 over 4? How many of you wanted to do that? Don't lie.
I tried to multiply by 5.
If you did that, your slope was 8 over 4, which equaled a slope of 2, yes? But I did not go up 8, did I? What was my actual rise? 8 fifths. So it was actually rise 8 fifths divided by run, which was 4, which is 8 fifths times 1/4, which means the slope is 8/20. Now, based on Ash's reaction, that is cause for concern for me. Do you not see why that works? Simplify. Excellent. 2, 4, 10, which is 2 fifths. That's the final answer. Is there anybody in the room that does not follow that? I'll go through the steps again. 1, we graphed it. 2, we checked rise over run, but we could not count them because a square up is only worth 1/5, whereas a square of run is worth 1. So you could not do 8 divided by 4. Yes.
So is the rise always going to be the y-intercept?
No, because I may give you a line that doesn't actually have a y-intercept. The slope is still rise over run.
For one like this one.
Yeah. Everybody good? Give yourself a mark out of 3. I didn't actually ask you to find slope. I just wanted to see if you could. What's that? That's an X. What's that? That's a Y. What's that? That's an X. What's that? That's a Y. What's that? That's a slope, which is what letter? M. Is there something we do that uses M, 2 X's and 2 Y's? Of course there is. My man Louis just said it. It's M equals Y2 minus Y1 over X2 minus X1. Then you fill in everything you know. 6 over 5 equals. I like to keep my Y's positive. Y plus 2. Why did I write Y plus 2 when I can plainly see that it is Y minus 2?
It's minus minus 2.
It's minus minus 2 over 2 plus 3. Then simplify. 6/5 equals Y plus 2 over 5. What do you do every single time you see a pair of fractions? Cross them. 5y plus 10 equals 30. 5y equals 20. Y equals 4. Done like dinner. Now, somebody in another class said, Mr. Myers, I got 4, but I didn't do y2 minus y1. No, you didn't have to. What did you do? He said, well, I recognized that my run was 5 here, right? So my rise had to be 6. So I just went up 6 from -2 to get to 4. Is that okay? Of course it is, as long as you explain how you did it. Because would I believe you if you wrote only y equals 4? No, I would not believe you. Because I watch you guys write tests. And if I had a nickel for every time your eyes looked on somebody else's paper, I could have quit this job halfway through Unit 1's test. Just from this class, let alone all the rest of my classes. I'm not saying you're cheating. I'm just saying your eyes wander. What? Of course I can.
Oh yeah, what was that one out of?
Oh, I'm sorry. That one, we're going to call that out of 2. Making that whole page out of 5. My man, Carl, you happy? Excellentio. Oh, it's noon. My watch just beeped. Oh, this question's so difficult. You get no points for the graph because you only need to use it if you need to. I'm going to do this question both ways. One way algebraically, one way with the graph, so you can see, because that's really the only way you could have done it, one of the 2 ways. But there are some hints in the question. What are the hints in the question? Perpendicular is one hint, which means the slopes are what? 90 degrees from each other, which means they are opposite and reciprocated. So if you know one slope, do you automatically know the other slope? Yes, because you would flip the fraction and change the sign. They intersect on the x-axis. What does that mean? What does intersect mean? They cross. And they both cross at the x-axis. So what does that mean for both of their x-intercepts? They're the same. So you know that line 1 is x0 and line 2 is the exact same x0, isn't it? Because they intersect on the x-axis. You know one of the lines is 3x minus 6y equals 12, correct? Now, from there, do you know the x-intercept? Do you know what this point is right away? No, what must you do? Do some algebra, right? If y is 0, what happens to that y term? It goes away. 3x equals 12. What does x equal? 4. Where can I now write 4? Everywhere I see an x. So line 1 is 4, 0. Line 2 is 4, 0. Can I put it on the graph if I want? Yeah, because I only care about the x right now. 1, 2, 3, 4. Is everybody cool? Now, I know one of the lines goes through there. I know the other line goes through there with a perpendicular slope. Yes? Do I know how to make that give me a slope? How? Isolate y. So, 6y, if I bring it over here, equals 3x minus 12. Correct? Is y isolated? How do I isolate it? Divide everything by 6, and y equals 1/2 x minus 2. Does everyone agree? So what is the y-intercept of this line? -2. So I could graph that, couldn't I? That's one line taken care of. But I need the other line, don't I? What do I know about the other line? I know the slope is reciprocated, right? And is that other line made of y's and x's? Every line is made of y's and x's, right? So, line 2 must be y equals mx plus b, correct? Do I know the m? It's -2, right? So y equals -2x plus b. Do I know any x or y values for line 2? I know x is 4, and what's y? 0, correct? So 0 equals -8 plus b. What does b equal? 8. So now, where can I write the number 8? I can put it in two spaces. Where? I can put it anywhere I see what? A b. So right there, correct? So I would get y equals -2x plus 8. Is that an equation? Is that an equation of the other line? So am I done? Yes. That is going to get you 3 marks. Now I said you could do it from graphing too, didn't I? Once I graph that first line, I know its slope is 1/2, don't I? Up 2 over 4, right? So that means the other slope must be -2, yeah? Up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1. There's my y-intercept. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. -2x plus 8. You could do it with graphing if you wished. Any questions? Do I care which one you use? No. Should you be able to do both of them? Yes. Should you be more comfortable with one of them? Have one that you can go to. But be aware of how the other one works. What's the key? They are all made of what? Numbers that all fit what pattern? X and Y. Every equation has what in it? X and Y. So if you have anything that's number, comma, number, where can you put it? On the graph and everywhere in the equation that is X, Y. Everybody got it? If you learn that, you're set. Turn the page, or not, you don't turn the page yet. We're here. If they are parallel, what do you know about the slope of AB and the slope of CD? They must be the same. Which of them can I find right now, AB or CD? Why do you know you can find AB? Because CD has a variable in it. So I can only work with AB, right? So that would be -8 minus 7 over -3 minus 2, which would be -15 over -5, which would be what? 15 over 5, which would be 3 over 1. Agreed? So if they are parallel, CD must equal 3 over 1, right? What is CD? a minus 2 over 1 minus 0, which is 1, correct? What do I do every time I have fraction equals fraction? Cross multiply. 3 equals a minus 2. What does a equal? 5. And I'm done for 2 marks. Is everybody cool? Does everybody understand what I did there? Great. Now, what does perpendicular mean? Opposite reciprocals. So, one of two things can happen here. Can I change this side? If I change this side, do I get the perpendicular slope? Yes. So what would I write? Negative 1/3. If I change this side, do I change this side then? No. A minus 2 over 1. What if I change this side? Is that allowed? Can I flip this side?
No. Wait, if the other side's flipped, so you're not supposed to flip the other side.
If this side flips, I don't flip this side. Well, what if I flip this side? Then I don't flip the other side. I would go 3 over 1 equals negative 1 over a minus 2. And when you did the algebra, you would find they were both get you the same answer. Okay? Because in this one, I reciprocated the rise and run. And on this one, I reciprocated the slope. Doesn't matter which I do. They come out with the same answer, which is negative 1 equals 3a minus 6. Shouldn't have done that in green. Negative 1 equals 3a minus 6. Bring the 6 over. 5 equals 3a. A equals 5/3. Right? Go to the other one. 3a minus 6 equals negative 1. See how it's the same thing? I'm still going to get 5/3 equals a for 2 marks, making that page out of 7.
I already screwed up the whole thing because I made it like x1 x2 minus x1 instead of y2 plus y.
Ah, that would have worked for the perpendicular side.
Yeah.
Okay. What form do I have right there? Point slope form. Now, please notice I have said graph it before you change the equation. Is there any way for me to prove that you have graphed this before you change the equation? Is there any way for me to prove it? No. So I would never give you this question on a test. I did it on here because I wanted you to get double practice, which is practicing how to graph that and how to do exponent or algebra. Okay? So if you did this properly, you graphed that right now. Where did you start?
Negative 3 on x and positive 4.
You started at negative 3, 4, because you remembered that those signs have to be opposite. Then what did you do from that point, Louis?
The slope is negative 3 fourths.
So
So it's down 3, right 4.
and just to make sure, up 1, 2, 3, and left 1, 2, 3, 4. And there, 1, 2, 3, 4. I went 5. And there is your slope for 1 mark. Now, if you have it graphed, you can take your mark, right? But you were supposed to graph it from the blue. Now, this is where it gets interesting because this is where you guys get in trouble. Because I do not care which way you go here. There is no right way to do this. And some of you find it difficult to learn how to do stuff. You need to be shown what to do. Well, I have to convert this 3 times, don't I? How many combinations are there of doing something 3 times? A lot, right? Is there any way I could teach you all of them? No. And what would be the point? So you have to do algebra. You have to do algebra in whatever order you see fit. So, I will remind you of the versions I'm allowed to use here. AX plus BY equals C. AX plus BY plus C equals 0. And Y equals MX plus B. There are some rules about these two. What are they? General form, yes sir. What are the rules about it?
The AX has to be positive.
A is positive. What else are the rules?
Whole numbers. I mean,
And A, B, and C are never fractions. The general says so. Which way do you want, what do you wish to convert first? Where do you want to go? I will give you a hint. I always go to general or standard first. Always. Because I don't like to deal with that fraction. Is it all right if I do that? Is everybody happy? Okay, let's do so. I have y minus 4 equals negative 3/4 x plus 3. I need that to look like one of those two. What's in the way? No fractions allowed. What else? No brackets allowed. How do I get rid of divided by 4? Okay, so if I multiply that side by 4, what happens to the 4? What happens to this 4 and that 4? They're gone. Because 4 is above in the numerator, 4 is in the denominator. So I'm left with negative 3x plus 3. Is everybody cool with that step? If I multiply the right side of the equation, what must I do to the left? Same thing. What is the answer?
41 minus 16.
Great. Now what's in the way? Got to get rid of those brackets. How do we get rid of brackets? Distribute. 4y minus 16 equals negative 3x minus 9. Now what? I'm over here. Here we are! You're going to move the 3x. Why, Louis?
because he has to be on positive.
He has to be positive. So I'm going to get 3x plus 4y. Now, general form puts everything on one side. So where should that 9 go? Should come over here and become what? Positive. So it would be minus 7 equals 0, yes? Negative 16 plus 7, or plus 9, right? That's general form. What if it was standard form? Then what moves? The 16 moves. And I get 3x plus 4y equals 7. Because that 7's what's coming over.
I don't know what was up at 16.
Well, because that was up here. There's general and standard, yes? How do I make one of them look like that? Isolate the y. 3x plus 4y equals 7. What has to move? Why would you move y? It's already positive. 3x moves. 4y equals negative 3x plus 7. Now what? We got to get y by itself. We need it to look like this. So what is it? Equals negative 3/4 x plus 7/4. I divide everything, right? Now, that bothers you, but it shouldn't because it's just 1 3/4, right? Now, look at your graph. This is the y-intercept, isn't it? Isn't my y-intercept there when I hand drew it around 2? Isn't 7 divided by 4 around 2? So did I do it right? Yeah, sure, you betcha. You get 3 marks for the algebra, you get 1 mark for the graph, for a total of 4. And I think that's it, yeah? So 4 and 7 is 11, and 5 is 16, and 26 is 42. Give yourself a mark out of 42. Now, yeah. You already had 26 marks from yesterday. Now listen. Class goes until 1. I don't care. I'm giving you the rest of the period. If I decide that you are not working, I will stop the work time and we will mark. Because if you are not working, you must be done. And anything that is not done will be marked with what grade? 0. Got it? So, if you are going to not work, make sure you fool me into thinking you are doing math.
So are we working on Monday then?
Huh?
Are we working on Monday?
We took a little longer to do this than I wanted to. And I said to leave yourself with 40 minutes of work. I am betting most people did no work on this last night. So you are left with more than 40 minutes of work. That is, if I was a betting man, because smart betting men base their bets on previous performance, right? And previous performance says no homework was done, as is evidenced by my homework checks. So, I am betting that most people need more than the rest of the class to finish this review. Ah! Don't look, don't look. Danger, Will Robinson, danger. Do the next review. If it seems like everyone's working, you get the whole period. If it seems like you're pissing around, time to mark. Got it? Go.